Imagine this. You're standing in the middle of a storm, people shouting, chaos swirling around you, and yet you're completely unshaken. No harsh words, no rude actions, no external drama can rattle you. You're a fortress of calm, a master of your emotions. Sounds like something out of a superhero movie, right? But here's the kicker. This isn't a superpower reserved for a select few. This is a skill, a mindset that anyone can develop. And today, you're about to learn how. Welcome to the art of emotional mastery. This isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending nothing bothers you. It's about understanding your emotions so deeply that you can navigate life with unshakable poise, no matter what's thrown your way. By the end of this, you'll have the tools to never let anger, frustration, or negativity control you again. Ready to transform how you respond to the world? Let's dive in. The power of emotional detachment. Break the chain of reaction. The first step to mastering your emotions is learning the art of emotional detachment. Now, before you think this means becoming cold or indifferent, let me clarify. Emotional detachment isn't about shutting down or ignoring your feelings. It's about creating a healthy distance between you and your emotions so you can observe them without being consumed by them. Think of it like this. Emotions are like waves in the ocean. They rise, they crash, and they fade. But you're the sky above the ocean, vast, calm, and unchanging. Emotional detachment teaches you to be the sky, not the waves. Why this works? When we react impulsively to emotions, we're essentially handing over control to whatever triggered us. But when we detach, we create a mental space, a buffer between what happens to us and how we respond. This space is where true power lies. It's where you get to choose your response instead of being hijacked by your emotions. How to practice emotional detachment. Here's how you can start building this skill today. Pause and breathe. The moment you feel anger, frustration, or any intense emotion bubbling up, hit the mental pause button. Take a deep breath, or 3. This simple act creates a moment of stillness, giving you a chance to step back from the emotion instead of being swept away by it. Observe without judgment. Instead of labeling your emotions as good or bad, simply notice them. For example, if you feel anger rising, don't think, "I'm so angry." Instead, say to yourself, "I notice anger arising." This shift in perspective helps you detach from the emotion and see it for what it is, a temporary state, not who you are. Let it pass. Remind yourself that emotions are fleeting. They come and go like clouds in the sky. You don't have to act on them or cling to them. Just let them drift by. Real life example. Picture this. You're in a high-stakes meeting and a colleague criticizes your idea in front of everyone. Your face flushes, your heart races, and your first instinct is to fire back with a sharp retort. But instead, you pause. You take a deep breath. You observe the anger rising within you, acknowledge it, and let it pass. By the time you respond, you're calm, collected, and able to address the criticism with clarity and confidence. That's the power of emotional detachment in action. The science behind it, research in psychology and neuroscience, backs this up. Studies show that mindfulness practices, like observing emotions without judgment, can significantly reduce emotional reactivity. When you practice emotional detachment, you're essentially rewiring your brain to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Over time, this becomes your default mode, giving you a profound sense of control over your emotional world. The bigger picture. Emotional detachment isn't about being cold. Let's clear up a common misconception. Emotional detachment isn't about becoming cold, distant, or indifferent. It's about creating a healthy relationship with your emotions so they no longer control you. Think of it as stepping into the role of an observer, someone who can feel deeply but isn't swept away by every wave of emotion. This balance allows you to respond to life with clarity and intention, rather than being tossed around by every storm. 2. Reprogram your mind, the what-if mindset. Shift, our minds are like supercomputers, incredibly powerful, but sometimes they run programs that don't serve us. When we're triggered, our thoughts often spiral into negativity. Why did they say that? Or what do they mean by that? These questions might feel natural, but they often lead us down a rabbit hole of anger, frustration, and emotional turmoil. But what if there's a better way? What if, instead of reacting with anger, you could shift your perspective and turn the situation into an opportunity for growth? Enter the what-if mindset shift, a simple yet transformative tool rooted in curiosity and perspective. How to use the what-if mindset. The next time you feel triggered, pause and ask yourself, what if this situation is a lesson for me? What if this person is going through something I don't understand? What if this is an opportunity for me to grow? These questions aren't just philosophical musings. They're practical tools that help you reframe the situation. Instead of fueling anger, they open the door to empathy, understanding, and personal growth. Real-life example. Imagine this. A friend cancels plans with you at the last minute. Your initial reaction might be to think, they don't care about me, or they're being selfish. But instead, you pause and ask yourself, what if they're dealing with something difficult right now? Suddenly, your anger softens, and you're able to respond with compassion rather than resentment. This small shift in perspective can completely change the dynamic of the situation and your emotional state. The science behind it. This approach is backed by cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, a well-established psychological practice. CBT teaches us that our thoughts directly influence our emotions. By reframing negative thoughts, like asking what-if questions, you can reduce emotional distress and improve your mood. Essentially, you're reprogramming your mind to focus on possibilities rather than problems. The bigger picture. The what-if mindset isn't just a tool for diffusing anger, it's a way of life. It encourages us to see every interaction as an opportunity for growth, not just a potential trigger for our emotions. It transforms frustration into curiosity, conflict into connection, and challenges into lessons. Over time, this mindset becomes a powerful lens through which you view the world. The power of self-sovereignty. Own your emotional realm. Here's a truth that can change your life. You are the ruler of your emotional world. In Buddhism, this concept is known as self-sovereignty, the idea that no one else has the power to make you feel anything unless you allow it. Others might say or do things that challenge you, but how you feel in response is entirely within your control. Why this matters? The power of self-sovereignty lies in recognizing that your emotional state is your responsibility. No one can truly make you angry, sad, or upset unless you give them permission to do so. This realization is incredibly freeing because it places the power back into your hands. You're no longer a victim of circumstance. You're the architect of your emotional experience. How to practice self-sovereignty. Here's how you can start reclaiming your emotional power. Take ownership. Remind yourself that your emotions are yours to control. No one else can dictate how you feel unless you let them. Set boundaries. If someone consistently tries to provoke you, limit your interactions with them. Protect your emotional energy like the precious resource it is. Respond, don't react. When someone tries to upset you, take a moment to center yourself before responding. This pause allows you to choose your reaction rather than being controlled by your emotions. Real life example. Picture this. You're stuck in the traffic and someone cuts you off. Your first instinct might be to honk, yell, or feel frustrated. But instead, you take a deep breath and remind yourself, I control how I feel. This person's actions don't define my emotional state. By doing this, you reclaim your peace and refuse to let external events dictate your mood. The bigger picture. Self-sovereignty isn't just about managing anger. It's about taking full responsibility for your emotional well-being. It's about recognizing that you have the power to choose how you respond to life's challenges. When you embrace this truth, you step into a new level of emotional freedom and resilience, bringing it all together. Emotional mastery isn't about never feeling anger or frustration. It's about understanding and managing those emotions so they don't control you. By practicing emotional detachment, shifting your mindset with what-if questions, and embracing self-sovereignty, you can transform how you respond to the world. This isn't just about avoiding conflict or staying calm. It's about living with intention, clarity, and inner peace. It's about becoming the kind of person who walks through life unshaken, no matter what storms come your way. The science behind it, research in emotional intelligence, EQ, has shown that individuals who take responsibility for their emotions are better equipped to manage stress, navigate conflicts, and maintain healthy relationships. By practicing self-sovereignty, you're not just avoiding emotional turmoil, you're actively building emotional resilience. This resilience allows you to bounce back from challenges faster and maintain a sense of inner peace, even in the face of adversity. The takeaway. When we allow others to trigger us, we're essentially handing over control of our emotional realm. But by claiming our emotional sovereignty, we reclaim that power. We empower ourselves to respond with wisdom, peace, and emotional maturity, rather than reacting impulsively. This shift doesn't just improve our relationships, it transforms how we experience life itself. 4. Energy transmutation. Transform anger into high vibration power. Anger is one of the most intense emotions we experience. It can feel overwhelming, even destructive, if left unchecked. But what if I told you that anger doesn't have to be a negative force? In fact, Buddhism teaches us that anger can be transmuted, transformed into higher forms of energy, such as focus, creativity, and motivation. This process is called energy transmutation, and it's a game changer for emotional mastery. How to do it? The key to transmuting anger is to redirect its energy into something constructive. Instead of letting anger consume you, use it as fuel to elevate your state of being. Here's how. Acknowledge the anger. Don't suppress or deny it. Recognize that you're feeling angry and allow yourself to feel it fully, but only for a moment. Redirect the energy. Channel that fiery energy into a productive outlet. This could be a creative project, a workout, or even tackling a task that requires focus and determination. Release and elevate. As you engage in the activity, visualize the anger transforming into something positive, like focus, strength, or inspiration. Real life example. Imagine you've just had a heated argument with a loved one. Instead of stewing in frustration or replaying the conversation in your head, you decide to channel that energy into something productive. You head to the gym and pour all that intensity into your workout. By the time you're done, you've not only burned off the negative energy, but also feel stronger, clearer, and more centered. The science behind it: anger triggers the release of adrenaline, a hormone that prepares your body for action. While this can lead to impulsive reactions, it can also be harnessed for productive purposes. By redirecting this energy, you're essentially transforming a potentially destructive emotion into a source of motivation and growth. The long-term benefit: as you continue to practice energy transmutation, you'll find that anger no longer has the power to drain you. Instead, it becomes a source of fuel, a driving force that propels you forward in life. Over time, you'll start to see anger not as an enemy, but as a powerful ally that can be harnessed for your benefit. The art of emotional alchemy. Turning toxic energy into gold. Emotional alchemy is the practice of transforming negative emotions like anger, frustration, or resentment into sources of wisdom, strength, and personal growth. It's about taking what feels toxic and turning it into something valuable, such as understanding, compassion, or clarity. How to practice emotional alchemy. When anger arises, instead of resisting it or letting it consume you, use it as an opportunity for self-reflection and growth. Here's how. Pause and reflect. When you feel anger rising, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself, what is this anger trying to show me? What unmet need or boundary is being highlighted here? What can I learn from this situation? Extract the lesson. Every emotion carries a message. Anger, for example, often signals that a boundary has been crossed or that something important to us feels threatened. By identifying the root cause of your anger, you can address the underlying issue and grow from the experience. Transform the energy. Once you've extracted the lesson, consciously choose to transform the energy of the emotion. For example, turn anger into assertiveness. Turn frustration into determination. Turn resentment into forgiveness. Real-life example. Let's say you're angry because a colleague took credit for your work. Instead of lashing out or harboring resentment, you pause and reflect. You realize that your anger is highlighting a need for recognition and respect. With this insight, you decide to have a calm, assertive conversation with your colleague about the importance of giving credit where it's due. By doing this, you've not only addressed the issue, but also turned a negative experience into an opportunity for growth and self-advocacy. The science behind it. Emotional alchemy is rooted in the principles of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on new experiences and thought patterns. By consistently practicing emotional alchemy, you're training your brain to respond to challenges with curiosity and growth, rather than reactivity. Over time, this rewiring leads to greater emotional resilience and a more positive outlook on life. The bigger picture. Emotional alchemy isn't just about managing anger, it's about transforming all negative emotions into opportunities for growth. It's about recognizing that every emotion, no matter how uncomfortable, has value. By mastering this art, you'll not only navigate life's challenges with grace, but also uncover deeper layers of wisdom and strength within yourself. Bringing it all together. Emotional mastery isn't about never feeling anger or frustration. It's about understanding and transforming those emotions so they serve you rather than control you. By practicing energy transmutation and emotional alchemy, you can turn even the most challenging emotions into sources of power, growth, and insight. This is the path to true emotional freedom, a life where you're no longer at the mercy of your emotions, but rather the master of them. Ready to take the next step? The lesson in anger, turning frustration into growth. Anger, like all emotions, is a messenger. It's trying to tell you something about your boundaries, your values, or your unmet needs. When you feel anger rising, instead of letting it consume you, ask yourself, what is this anger trying to teach me? Real life example. Imagine you've been overlooked for a promotion at work. Your initial reaction might be anger, frustration, or even self-doubt. But instead of stewing in those emotions, you pause and reflect. What is this anger teaching me about my values and goals? How can I use this experience to grow and improve? By reframing the situation, you turn a negative emotion into a catalyst for self-improvement. Maybe the anger reveals that you value recognition and growth in your career. With this insight, you can take actionable steps, like seeking feedback, improving your skills, or exploring new opportunities. The bigger picture. Emotional alchemy isn't about eliminating negative emotions. It's about integrating them into your life in a way that fosters healing and growth. Every time you practice it, you refine yourself, becoming more attuned to inner peace and compassion. It's a continuous process of turning lead into gold, transforming challenges into opportunities for self-discovery and empowerment. 6. Silence as power, the mastery of non-engagement. In a world that often rewards quick comebacks and loud reactions, silence is a rare and powerful tool. When someone provokes you, choosing not to engage can be one of the most empowering responses. Silence allows you to preserve your peace, maintain control over your emotions, and rise above the chaos. How to use silence? In a heated argument or confrontation, instead of firing back, take a deep breath and remain silent. This act of non-engagement does two things. It disarms the other person, leaving them without a target for their anger. It gives you the space to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Real-life example. Picture this. Someone insults you in a public setting. The crowd's eyes are on you, waiting for your reaction. Instead of retaliating, you remain silent, maintaining your composure. Your silence speaks volumes, demonstrating emotional maturity and self-control. It's a quiet but powerful statement that says, I won't let your words disturb my peace. The takeaway. Silence isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It's a tool that allows you to rise above conflict, protect your emotional well-being, and respond with grace. When you master the art of silence, you reclaim your power and refuse to let others dictate your emotional state. 7. Mastering grace under pressure. Be unshakable. Life is full of challenges, traffic jams, missed deadlines, difficult conversations, and unexpected setbacks. But how you respond to these challenges determines your emotional state. Mastering grace under pressure means remaining calm, composed, and centered even when life pushes you to your limits. How to practice grace under pressure? Pause and breathe. In moments of stress, take a few deep breaths to regain your composure. This simple act activates your parasympathetic nervous system, calming your body and mind. Practice mindfulness. Stay present and aware of your thoughts and emotions. Notice what's happening within you without judgment. Accept what you can't control. Focus on how you respond to challenges, rather than trying to control the situation itself. As the Stoics taught, you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Real life example: you're running late for an important meeting and traffic is at a standstill. Your heart races and panic starts to set in. But instead of spiraling into stress, you take a deep breath and remind yourself, I can't control the traffic, but I can control how I respond. By staying calm, you arrive at the meeting with clarity and focus, ready to handle whatever comes your way. The bigger picture, grace under pressure, isn't about never feeling stressed. It's about choosing how you respond to stress. With practice, you'll become unshakable, no matter what life throws your way. This skill not only improves your emotional well-being, but also enhances your ability to navigate challenges with confidence and poise. Final thoughts. Anger is a natural emotion, but it doesn't have to control you. Through the teachings of Buddhism and the principles of emotional mastery, you can learn to stay calm in any situation, respond with wisdom and compassion, and transform challenges into opportunities for growth. Remember, emotional mastery isn't about perfection, it's about progress. With each mindful step, you'll become more resilient, calm, and at peace with yourself and the world around you. So, the next time you feel anger rising, pause, breathe, and remember, you are the master of your emotions. You have the power to choose how you respond, to transform negativity into growth, and to walk through life with unshakable grace. This is your journey. Embrace it. If you found our video beneficial, then type Buddhist Radiance in comment section